It was a bumpy road in the Music City. Pens and Preds. Let's talk Pens and the Predators on Penguins postgame. Right now, let's get started. You're locked in to Penguins hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Sidney Crosby and the Penguins play here on the Sports for Beginners podcast. Hey, Showtime scores! The bingo game is ready to roll. Welcome to Penguins postgame. PPG for PGH. And you'd have to be here to believe it. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Thursday recap. We're coming to you live on a Friday, possibly wrapping up on a Saturday, when this most likely will be coming out to you. The Penguins and the Predators. Oh boy, what happened in this hockey game? Well, I'll tell you. It was quite the hockey game. It was quite the hockey game. We had quite the hockey game going on for you between the Preds and the Penguins. Penguins throw a punch. The Predators throw a punch. Let's jump to it. As always, we like to start with our matchup between the in goal. I was going to say between the pipes, but I wanted to say in goal. And this game was on a Thursday night at Bridgestone Arena. Head coaches Andrew Burnett and Mike Sullivan. Andrew B. and Mike Sullivan. Andrew, if I pronounced your last name wrong, I apologize. Matchup between the pipes, or rather in goal, to be specific. Let's see. J.A. is the backup to UC Saros. UC Saros is picking up the start against the Penguins tonight. Or I should say in this game on Thursday night. So it's 29 backing up 74 and 39. Alex Nedeljkovic backing up number 35, Tristan Jarry. So it's Jarry versus UC Saros. It is Jarry versus UC Saros at Bridgestone Arena. And might I say, buckle up for quite a recap. Here we go. There's a lot for us to get into, plus overtime, so let's just get the opening period out of the way before we take our first break. Let's just get the opening period out of the way. Here we go. Now, I do want to talk about the Maple Leafs and the Stars game, but first, let's talk about this game. I'll talk about that one, which played the other day. Not on the Thursday night, it was on the Wednesday night. But I do want to talk about how quickly, on the second period, the Dallas Stars got on the board. How quickly the guy that scored this goal scored it in. Speaking of scoring early, let's get into this third period. First period to kick us off. How did it all begin? Well, you want to talk about scoring early? Guess what? You will get a guy that scores early. Time of the goal of this one, 3 minutes. That's right, 3 minutes and 51 seconds in. Not quite as fast as the goal the other night against the Kings that came in. But Nashville gets on the board early. Oh, and wouldn't you know it, it's a former Vegas Golden Knight. It's Jonathan Marchessault picking up his 9th goal of the season. Philip Forsberg, he was on milestone watch. He picks up his 14th assist of the season on this goal, his first of the game. He had a few assists in this game. And Luke Schenn picking up his first assist of the season. Predators on top 1-0. But the Penguins quickly answer, and that gets quickly answered by a Predator goal. Here's who scored the goal for the Penguins. I know I talk about the Milkshake Factory on this program, but we just don't have a lot of time to do that. I just want to get us into this thing, so I'll save that after we're done, because I'm pretty sure by now you've already gotten yourself your half off Rusty Shake, because Rust scored not once, but twice. And because he did so, milkshakes, as we record this program, at the official milkshake of the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh, are half off for Rusty Shake. With that being said, speaking of Rusty, Brian Rust did score once, only in the first period, but he did score again a little later. His 13th goal of the season. And that is assisted by Rickard Rakell, his 11th of the season on the assist category. Sidney Crosby, number 24 on the season for Crosby, part of a 3-assist night for Crosby. And 16 minutes and 21 seconds in, the Penguins are on the board. They tie it up. And this went on and on and on until we got to overtime. You'll know what I mean in a minute, unless you watch the game, which I highly think a couple of you did. Penguins take a penalty, and the Predators do score. But first, speaking of penalties, let's take a look at those penalties. The first penalty of the game went to Jonathan Marchessault. So he scores a game goal. So he scores a game opening goal. He scores the game opening goal and then takes the game opening penalty. Was that your plan, Jonathan? Was that your plan, Jonathan Marchessault? I don't think so. But regardless, he is called for a 2-minute minor for tripping. I moved over to the penalty caused by Rickard Rakell. But anyways, he took that 2-minute minor for hooking at 10 minutes and 53 seconds. Jonathan Marchessault's penalty, 2 minutes for tripping. 7 minutes and 27 seconds in. So literally a few moments later, after he scored the game-opening goal, Marchessault goes to the box. Marchessault goes to the box for a tripping penalty. Speaking of penalties, Anthony Buvarelli picking up his own penalty in the first period, not the third period, in the first period. It is a 2-minute minor for interference was the call at 16 minutes and 28 seconds. After 20 minutes, the Preds lead the Penguins 2-1. After 20 minutes, shots on goal, 9-5 in favor of the Predators. To the second period we go. But we'll take that right after a quick word from our good buddy Ali over at Broadcast Map. And while we're at it, why not hear a word from our friends over at On the Ice and Behind the Benches? If you were tuned in to the PWHL recap, you are definitely now tuned in. Same guy on the mic, but you are tuned in now to Penguins hockey on Sports for Beginners and streaming every Wednesday. Off day this hockey season. The Penguins have an off day on a Wednesday. They do not play on a Wednesday. That's when Penguins Wednesday hockey streams only on the Ice and Behind the Benches. Back in a moment.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Musa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches. All right, matchup between the pipes, matchup at the head coaching job done. We got through the first period. It's 2-1 Predators after one period of play, as the Predators get the game's first lead, and they take back the lead on the power play. On that Anthony Buvarelli penalty. So the Predators don't score on the Ricard Raquel penalty, but they do score on the Anthony Buvarelli penalty. Oh, by the way, Jonathan Marchessault tripped up Philip Tomasino, a former Predator, to get the game's first power play for Pittsburgh, which they did not capitalize on. But that's okay. They did not capitalize on that, But, you know, Nashville is going to capitalize at some point. Obviously didn't capitalize on the Raquel penalty, but they capitalized on the Anthony Buvarelli penalty. But with that said, we go to the second period now. That's where we're going to start this segment. And in the second period, the Predators go quickly up by 2 on a goal by the former Tampa Bay Lightning player Steven Stamkos, his 9th of the season. He's finding a groove now with his new team. But it hasn't been easy for Stamkos. Philip Forsberg, speaking of, picking up another assist. His 2nd of the game, 15th of the year. Gustav Nyquist picking up assist number 6 on the season for him. It's 3-1 Nashville. Evgeny Malkin says, you capitalized on the man advantage, I should say, not penalty kill. Let's see if we can capitalize, and let me see if I can do that. And he does just that. Evgeny Malkin scores on the power play. Oh no, sorry. It wasn't a power play goal by Evgeny Malkin. It was actually a power play goal by the captain, Sidney Crosby, His 9th goal of the season for Crosby. Number 506 in Crosby's career. Assisted by Erik Karlsson, his 19th of the season. Again, Erik Karlsson's making a name for himself. That's EK65, in case you didn't know. Well, what am I talking about? Penguins fan, you knew who I was talking about. Okay. Anywho. Oh, I missed that. Oops. I meant to say 601 because Crosby already has 600 goals. So that's 601 for his career, excuse me. That's goal 601 for Crosby in his career, excuse me. I can't believe I messed that one up. Oops. Anywho, Erik Karlsson, 19th assist of the season. Brian Rust, a goal. He's got a goal in the game. Why not rack up an assist? He's got his 10th assist of the season on the power play goal. Connects with Crosby once again. But this time, Rickard Rakell deflects in a Sidney Crosby shot for his 15th of the season. Crosby gets assist number 25 of the season, his 2nd of the game. And Brian Rust, 2nd assist of the game, 11th of the season. And just like that, quickly, but faster than you could skin a rabbit, rather, 9 minutes and 8 seconds and 7 minutes and 54 seconds in, after the Steven Stamkos goal at 3 minutes and 38 seconds, the Penguins have come all the way back again to tie it. We're tied at 3. Penguins 3, Predators 3. Blake Lizotte taking a penalty in the second period. A 2-minute minor for kneeing. That's a new one. Well, it's a new one to me. But anyways, that came in early second period. 1 minute and 38 seconds in. Brady S, I should say, takes Nashville's only penalty of the second period, as they only go to the box once in the second period, and it comes at 5 minutes and 58 seconds. He goes for tripping. Shots on goal after 40, 7-4 in favor of the Predators. Predators outshooting Penguins 16-9 for the game. Third period rolls around, and 38 seconds in, Erik Karlsson takes a penalty. For holding the stick. So it took Karlsson 38 seconds to get a penalty early third period. You're tied at 3. And you take a penalty. Later in the period, Predators take advantage. Brady Shea took a penalty last period. In the second period, that is. Why not get on the board? He does have an assist already. 8 of the season. On the goal by Luke Evangelista. I missed that one in the first period. Oops. And Thomas Novak picking up the assist as well. Sorry, Tommy Novak picking up the assist on that goal. 4th of the season for Luke Evangelista. That's 4th goal of the season for him. And Tommy Novak, 3rd assist of the season. Brady Shea, 8th assist of the season. Why not get on the board in the third? Oops, I might have missed that. But anyways, it's 2-1 on that power play goal by Luke Evangelista. Anyways, we're now at a score of 4-3 Nashville. So yet again, Nashville had the lead. They lost it. They had the lead again. Pittsburgh came back. And now Nashville has the lead here in the third period. It's 4-3. And Brian Rust. Nope. That was Erik Karlsson. Took a penalty early in the period. Said not happening again. He took a penalty early in the period, and he said not happening again. And he comes up clutch. third goal of the year for him to tie this game and force overtime. Matt Grzelcyk picking up assist number 16 on the year. And Sidney Crosby, 3 assists on the evening. Number 24 in the first period. Number 25 in the second period. Number 26 right up there in the third. His third assist of the hockey game. Oh, just to reiterate, Ryan O'Reilly on the Brady Shea goal, his 11th of the season. 11th assist of the season. Brady Shea, his third goal of the year. Zachary L.H. with his 5th assist of the year on that goal. And just so everyone's aware, that was at 7 minutes and 44 seconds. The goal by Carlson at 11 minutes and 36 seconds. At 8 minutes and 17 seconds, Penguins take a penalty. After the Carlson penalty, as Blake Lizotte goes for interference. His second penalty of the hockey game. This time it's for interference. That's at 8 minutes and 17 seconds. And a last-ditch effort, a chance there for the Penguins to win the hockey game in regulation on the power play, and Steven Stamkos tripped up Cody Glass at 17 minutes and 53 seconds in. Penguins have an opportunity to win the game tied 4-4, but unfortunately unable to succeed as time will expire on the power play and time will expire in regulation. After 60 minutes, as we go from regulation to overtime for the third straight game this season. Third straight game, I should say, in 3 games, because they lost that game to Ottawa in overtime before they played the Kings the other night. Won that one in overtime. I'm going to pull it up here as we're recording here. I'm going to pull it up here as we look at it. But anyways, we all know that the Penguins won against the Kings in overtime. That one, quite interesting. Speaking of overtime, we were even after regulation time in the shot total, as nobody won that period. 10 shots each to the Penguins and the Predators at the end of 60 minutes. I should say at the end of the third period. For the game, it was 26-19, still in favor of the Predators. See, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. I don't understand this. You win the hockey game despite being outshot. How does that work? How does that work? I don't understand it. How does it work? Anywho, the only goal scored in overtime, which pretty much ends up being the game winner. The Rusty Razor strikes again, his second goal of the game, not on the season. 14th goal on the season. He had his 13th scored earlier. And finally, Evgeny Malkin is on the board. His 20th assist of the season. Christopher Letang, speaking of finally on the board, he's got an assist, his 9th of the season. And this took 1 7 minutes. And Brian Russ said, you know what? I already scored once. Erik Karlsson came up clutch to score for us to force overtime. So let me do him a favor and let me do the Penguins fans a favor and say good night from Nashville in the Music City by ending this game 1 minute and 7 seconds in. Penguins win the game as a result, 5-4. They beat the Kings the other night on Tuesday night, 3-2. So a bit of a high-scoring game between Pittsburgh and Nashville. But we just keep getting closer and closer to the Battle of PA, which I know Philadelphia fans and Penguin fans, you are patiently awaiting. Good news. You only have to wait one more hockey night. Well, I mean, then you gotta wait the off day on Sunday. But anyways, you only need to wait one more hockey night. And that's Saturday night. When the Penguins take on the Devils. That ought to be a good one. All right. Scores done. Takers on the scorers done. Penalty takers done. We did it all in a periods summary of the game. Now for the stuff that matters, like the game stats. And we're going to touch on that when Penguins postgame continues. Also coming up, it's time for your 3 stars of the game from Thursday night. We are recording this on a Friday night. It is coming to you most likely on a Saturday. I thought I was going to be able to do it on Friday like today, but not able to do it. So we will see. But anyways, here we go. We'll take a break, get to the 3 stars of the game. The game stats are also next. Our play of the game. Take a break, come back with the shake of the game and much more. But one segment at a time. Next up, 3 stars of the game, the game stats, and our play of the game. When Penguins postgame continues, stick with us.
Take another look with Gerda Felix and Melanie Taddeo Malo. 2 powerful women of diverse backgrounds having genuine, unique, and uncomfortable conversations that everyone needs to have. Join Melanie and Gerda for conversations about what is missing from human connections.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Looking for conversations on books and more, as well as tutorials on using your favorite devices and applications? You've come to the right place. Join us weekly on Spicy Techie, where Ali and Sienna provide insightful conversations, as well as useful tips and tricks to help you along on your technological journey. To learn more, tune into the show and like the Spicy Techie Facebook page. Search for Spicy Techie.
Alrighty. We are rolling right along here on Penguins Postgame. We had a bit of a short introduction, but you know what? The shorter the introduction, the quicker we can get into the good stuff. And speaking of the good stuff, we have gotten into that in 2 segments, including our head coaches and our matchup in goal. Now it's time for the stuff that matters kind of, but doesn't really matter right off the jump of the program. It's time now for us to start our stats. Let's start with what our final total of shots were. No surprise, Predators still out shooting Pittsburgh, even though the Penguins won the overtime period with the 1 shot on goal to win 5-4 in overtime. 5-4 in overtime. Our final score yet again in favor of the Penguins. They were outshot 6 shots, I should say, on goal. 26-20. They won 54% of the faceoffs. Nashville locking in at 46%. In a game that saw $50 faceoffs, Pittsburgh winning 27 out of the 50. Nashville winning 23 out of 50 faceoffs. The Penguin penalty kill, 4 for 5 on the evening. Just double check that just to make sure, because I know the Penguins do post this thing. But just double checking here to make sure. Yes, they were indeed 4 for 5. Nashville's power play unit, 1 for 5 on the evening on Thursday night. Penalty kill for them, 2 for 3. Pittsburgh's power play as a result, 1 for 3 on the power play. But who was the busier team? Well, we go to penalty minutes, and guess what? The busier team on the ice for this game, when it comes to penalty killing, was Pittsburgh. 10 minutes in the penalty box. 10 minutes in the penalty box for Pittsburgh. 6 minutes only for the Nashville Predators. The Predators in the penalty box for 6 minutes only. They out-hit the Penguins 24-15. The Penguins blocked 16 of the Predators' shots. 11 of the shots were blocked by Nashville that were Pittsburgh's. Pittsburgh took the puck away from Nashville 7 times, but they gave it away to Nashville 14 times. A little bit interesting here because 2 less times than Pittsburgh did, Nashville gave away the puck to Pittsburgh. And speaking of 2 less times, they end the game with 5 takeaways to Pittsburgh's 7. You know, it amazes me. It amazes me that the Penguins did not, yes, they took the puck away from the Predators 7 times. But, yes, they took the puck away from the Predators 7 times. But it amazes me that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, whoever was calling the game, but it amazes me that even on that 7 takeaway, it wasn't a breakaway. I mean, I did watch the highlights, so I don't know if it was a breakaway, but it certainly looked interesting. All right, stats out of the way. Time now for our 3 stars of Thursday night's hockey game, as we are recording this the day after the game. And we start off with Nashville forward number 91, Steven Stamkos, a goal, 1 point, no assists. He is our 3rd star of the game. Sidney Crosby is our 2nd star of the game, a goal, 4 points, 3 assists. And Brian Rust is your 1st star of the game. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. Brian Rust, Sidney Crosby, and Steven Stamkos, your 3 stars of Thursday night's game. If you saw otherwise, let us know in our Discord server, Penguins Post-Game Show Interactions on Discord. Don't have Discord? Send an email to sportsforbeginners podcast8231@gmail.com. Once again, sportsforbeginners podcast8231@gmail.com. Alrighty. 3 stars out of the way. There is some action that went down on this Thursday night, and I do want to get into it, but we might be here all night if I do. So instead, you know what? Let's do it. All the games pretty much for that Thursday slate are gone. So let's go ahead and do that quickly before we get to the play of the game. Of course, if you listen to the game on the Penguins radio network, the 3 stars of the game brought to you by your neighborhood Ford stores in Pittsburgh. Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of your Pittsburgh Penguins. How's that for a powerhouse squad? Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs are the official vehicles of your Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. All right. Of course, we are not sponsored by Ford in Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, I should say. But that could be something coming down the line. And we are also not sponsored by Rivers Casino, the sponsors that bring you the play of the game on the Penguins radio network, WXDX FM Pittsburgh, an iHeart radio station, and your home of the Pens and the best Pens coverage. All right, here we go. Thursday night was an interesting one as the Tampa Bay Lightning held on to beat the St. Louis Blues 3-1. The Columbus Blue Jackets defeated the New Jersey Devils, who the Penguins will play tomorrow night, as you will be listening to this, probably. 4-2. The Kings scored a touchdown and beat the Philadelphia Flyers 7-3. And that's who the Penguins will see on Monday night in Pittsburgh. The Chicago Blackhawks defeated the Seattle Kraken 3-1. Also a few other games in Thursday's slate that needed overtime. The Edmonton Oilers defeated the Boston Bruins 3-2 in overtime. Our game, of course, 5-4 in favor of the Penguins in overtime. 3-2 victors are the Ottawa Senators over the Calgary Flames in Calgary in overtime. The Vancouver Canucks fell to the Vegas Golden Knights 3-1. And the San Jose Sharks fell to the Colorado Avalanche 4-2. Action on Friday is underway and by now pretty much final. A couple of those games will probably be final, but I would love to get into that. I really would, but we would be here all night. And I don't want to do that. So, before we get down to the next commercial break, leading into what will lead into our shake of the game, game puck of the game, etc. And what's next for the Penguins, what's next for the Predators. We're going to jump the gun and get into our play of the game before we take this next break. My play of the game, without a doubt, I'm going to go to Erik Karlsson on this one. What a way to show Nashville. Anytime you get a lead, we're going to throw it back into a tie. We're going to throw this game right back into a tie, which the Penguins did not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 times. And they didn't even have the lead the entire hockey game. What happened, Nashville? That's what I want to ask right now. What happened there? You had the lead all game. You had the lead all game. And the Penguins take the game-winning lead. I should just say they take the game in overtime, but literally the Nashville Predators had a 2-goal lead. They went back up by 2 goals, went up by 1 goal, blew it each time they had it. because let me just enlighten you here. The first time they got a 1-goal lead, Pittsburgh scored. It was Brian Rust. Tied it up. Then Luke made it 2-1. So the Predators have a 1-goal lead. As we sit after 20 minutes. That lead didn't last very long because after Stamkos made it a 2-goal lead, goals by Crosby and Rakell quickly tied it up. And then the third period happened, where Brady Shea gave Nashville a 1-goal lead, and they blew that one. As Erik Karlsson forces overtime. And that's why he's good enough for my play of the game. 5-4 the final. Back to wrap it up with the game puck of the game. Shake of the game. What's next for the Pens? Next up for the Preds. All coming up when we continue on Penguins post-game. The upcoming schedule for the Preds. Upcoming schedule for Pittsburgh. And then good night from our program. We include, in the next 5, we include into early January and out of the Christmas break. That all coming up next when Penguins postgame wraps up right after this. Stick with us.
CNT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down, nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on CNT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on CNT Radio.
Shake of the game coming up in just a few minutes. And of course our game puck of the game as well. But before we get there, I wanted to kick off this final segment with a look at our next 5. And we will reiterate the next 5 for the Penguins after the game puck of the game and the shake of the game have been given out. So here we go. Let's start with our Penguins, speaking of, since we will reiterate that in a little bit later. They'll take on New Jersey tomorrow night. Of course, you'll be listening to this probably by tomorrow night anyways. So better late than never for a post-game show. Our coverage will get you going 10 minutes after puck drop, 5 minutes to the exact after the puck drops. I should say after the final whistle. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on Saturday night. Before the Christmas break, the Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers will go head-to-head in the first Battle of Pennsylvania of the 2024-2025 season. As they take on each other head to head the day before Christmas Eve. Our coverage, if we can get that to you on Christmas Eve, our coverage the night of the game will start right after the puck is dropped and the clock has hit triple zeros in the third period, or we have an overtime winner. Depending on when that is, it may come your way in recording and on the day on Christmas Eve. What a great Christmas present from Sports for Beginners to you, Penguin fans and Philadelphia fans. Then it's a home and home series between the New York Islanders and the Pittsburgh Penguins beginning on Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, and then we have some holiday hockey in the Berg at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 Central Time, 4:30 p.m. Central Time. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Penguins' next 5 games wrap up with New Year's Eve when the Penguins take on the Detroit Red Wings for the final time this season, as they have already played Detroit twice already, and I believe they will play only one more game this regular season out of a 3-game series. That is on New Year's Eve when the Detroit Red Wings look to win the season series against Pittsburgh 2-1. Back on home soil, home ice to be exact. And that game at 8:10 p.m. Eastern, I should say at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, same time as the game on October the 10th, when the MLB playoffs were just across the street, happening at Comerica Park, the home of the Detroit Tigers. Comerica Park. Alrighty. That's the next 5 for the Penguins. Now to the games we won't really be worrying too much about when we reiterate it in a little bit later in this show, because our game, puck of the game, and shake of the game are going to be what lead us to reiterating the next 5 for Pittsburgh. But our next 5 for the Nashville Predators, they are on a 4-game homestand, which wraps up on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern against Carolina, 7 p.m. Central. At 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Central, they are hosting the Los Angeles Kings for some holiday hockey on Saturday. Then out of the Christmas break, the day after Boxing Day, they are on the road for a 3-game road trip to close out the month of December and the final month of 2024. As they will actually play on the road for a few games. Their road trip will start following their game against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Hurricanes, excuse me, not Panthers. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern. 3-game, including a back-to-back, I should say. Road trip to kick out 2024, I should say, to wrap up 2024 for the 2024-2025 season. As they'll take on St. Louis on Friday the 27th, the day after Boxing Day, which is the 26th of December. Then they take on the Winnipeg Jets at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Monday, December 30th. And on New Year's Eve, they take on Minnesota at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, as they are playing in 6. It's a 6-game road trip, as their new year in 2025 will begin with, as we go over the next 5, which are the Kings, that they will host on Saturday. They host the Hurricanes on Monday. They are in St. Louis on Friday, the day after Boxing Day. And they are in Winnipeg and Minneapolis Monday and Tuesday the following week. So those following Monday and Tuesday games on December 30th, 2024, and New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2024. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for that game between Minnesota and Nashville, excuse me. Nashville will play the Jets on the Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central. And with that said, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's their 5 games next up. But their 6-game road trip will continue as they take on Vancouver, Calgary, and Winnipeg to kick off 2025. Alrighty. Time quickly now as we wrap up here for one shake of the game to a side. And I'm not going to worry about the stats, really. I'm not going to worry about the stats for this one. Not for this one. They speak for themselves. But want to get in on the action? As I mentioned during the 3 stars, all you have to do is, if you're on Discord, go over to Penguins Post-Game Show Interactions or send an email to Sports for Beginners podcast 8231 at gmail.com. Again, Sports for Beginners podcast 8231 at gmail.com is the email you can reach me at. Alrighty. Game puck of the game is also on the way. And now that we are in the hour mark of the program, it's a good thing we're wrapping up here, because we are going to start with the shake of the game. All right. For the victorious Pittsburgh Penguins, who right now have a They right now have a They have a really good winning streak going on right now, I believe. Yes, the Penguins have a 2-game winning streak going right now. And a recipient tonight for the Thursday game, as we record this on a Friday, turn now to Saturday because it just turned midnight just 2 minutes ago. Our recipient is, I'm going to give it to Tristan Jarry for the Pittsburgh Penguins. 26 shots faced in the game, 22 saves, Gave up 4 goals, a goal on the power play, and 3 at even strength. The rest speaks for itself. Runner-up would be Mr. 2 goals the game. 2 goals in the game. Brian Rust, including that OT winner in Nashville on Thursday night. He is going to get a runner-up, but actually receive the game puck of the game. The shake of the game is going to go to Tristan Jarry for the Penguins. The game puck of the game is going to go to UC Saros of Nashville. 15 saves made, 20 shots faced. Stopped almost all of them. Gave up 4 goals in even strength, 1 on the power play, and 5 goals total. And our game puck of the game runner-up that will receive our shake of the game, we're going to go with the former Golden Knight, Jonathan Marchessault. Again, stats speak for themselves. So as we wrap up here, this is your reminder that the next time the Penguins will be on Double Trouble, well, you're just going to have to wait and see. But the next time the Penguins will play the Predators will be at 7 p.m. Eastern on February 1st in Pittsburgh. And for those who may not be aware, odds are you are aware, that is the month of the Four Nations tournament. So for a while, there won't be Penguins post-game shows coming your way. At least those that will be recorded, rather. Those that have been recorded but haven't been put out might be coming out during that time of day. During that moment in time, I should say. But anyways, 1 month and 1 game at a time. All right. The Preds and the Penguins won't see each other until February the 1st in Pittsburgh. And They're on a 2-game winning streak. Next up is the New Jersey Devils. And right now, the Devils will begin their 4-game season series with the Penguins tomorrow night, or tonight, I should say, in New Jersey as the hosts. To Philadelphia Flyer fans and Pittsburgh Penguin fans, like I said, you have to wait one more hockey night. Just one more night before the Battle of PA can begin for 2024-2025. And with that being said, that is going to do it for this edition of our Sports for Beginners Double Trouble doubleheader. We started with the women, wrapped up with Pittsburgh and the Predators. Our next PWHL recap is on Sunday, part of another double trouble when we will see the Bills take on the New England Patriots. Pre-show will follow the recap of the Actually, I should say the post-game shows will follow the recap for Dolphins and Bills. They will follow the recap. Those recap shows will follow the recap of Frost and Sirens round 2 of the 2024-2025 season. And our pre-show before they kicks off on Sunday. Both shows, the hockey recap, I should say, and the football recaps, and that pre-game show, all coming your way on Monday. So be sure you tune in to check it all out for yourself. My name is Scott McGregor. Thank you guys so much for being with us. Season content, bonus content, it really doesn't matter what you're listening to. As long as you're here, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. Have a great Christmas, everyone. And I wish you all a happy new year as well. A blessed happy new year. And anyone who celebrates Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah to you. As always, Penguin fans, as that wraps up another episode of Penguins Postgame, my name is Scott McGregor. If you like what you've listened to, or heard rather, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And also, I did want to get my thoughts in on Pierre-Olivier Joseph returning to Pittsburgh, but we didn't really have a lot of time, and I just wanted to get the game done. So I will touch on that at some point, maybe on one of the episodes in Season 4. I know by that time it'll be old news, but who knows? I mean, we do have the trade deadline coming up in the NHL, so we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. But anyways, as I said, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you very much for joining us here today. I would love it if you took a second to rate and review the podcast. Until next time, let's go Pens. My name is Scott McGregor, and you have just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins hockey on Sports for Beginners. As we always remind you, or cheer loud and proud, rather, if you're a Penguins fan, we like to say to Penguin fans, let's go Pens. Pens and the Devils. Next time on Penguins Postgame, I will see you then. Peace, everyone. Peace, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has just left the building. You've just listened to Pittsburgh Penguins Hockey on the Sports for Beginners podcast. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners or visit the official Sports for Beginners podcast website. Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay tuned. And remember that it is not goodbye, it is until next time. And you'd have to be here to believe it.